everyone, Jasper here from Margaret, and we're back to a new Spyro review video. And today we are back on my Spyro review series. In the last video, we reviewed the first Spyro the Dragon. And of course, we're going to be doing the direct sequel now to Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage, or Spyro 2 Gateway to Glimmer. So let's get started, shall we? So, the game starts off with Spyro just saying that him and Sparks should go on vacation somewhere warm and where it's sunny, and they find dragon shores. So, when they go they go to dragon shores, and then we see the professor, Alora and Hunter working on some technology, and Hunter is of course worried that it's a bad idea to bring a dragon because it would make Ripto more angry, but Alora tells him that a dragon is our only way to defeat Ripto. And then they get Spyro, but of course after some complainings with Spyro and Hunter, he basically, all of them get blown up by Ripto. Yes, Ripto, Gulp, his two henchmen, Gulp and Crush. And then Ripto sees Spyro, and of course, Ripto hates dragons. So, he's of course very mad. Zoe tries to zap him, but of course that doesn't work. Then Crush tries to kill Zoe, but he ends up just knocking Ripto off of Gulp. And then Gulp eats Ripto's scepter. Yeah, and then they escape. Alora tells him tells Spyro that's Ripto, and they have to stop him because he's been causing so much trouble in Avalar. So they have to take the guidebook, and she says that she would meet him in Summer Forest. So, and then we basically go, before we go to Summer Forest, we are dropped into the first level. After the intro cutscene, we are dropped into the first level, Glimmer. Yes, kind of like Spyro the Dragon, the first Spyro game, but there's different worlds you can go to, but this time instead of 6 worlds, it's 3 worlds in Spyro 2. Summer Forest, Autumn Plains, Winter Tundra. In each world, you will find levels where you have to collect a talisman, which we'll get back into in just a sec, and collecting gems as well. And this time, instead of enemies dropping gems, they release spirit particles. So, after you do Glimmer, get out of Glimmer, we are treated with a cutscene of Ripto, Gulp, and Crush going into the water, kicking money bags out of the castle, and taking the Summer Forest castle over. And, of course, we get the line, "I'm a fine, you dork," by Laura, which is much more sweeter and reignited than the original, because it sounds like she's saying it in a road version, or a road. It sounds like she's trying to sound road in the original, but in reignited, we could definitely say that she likes that. So, she tells us that, we tell her that we got a talisman, and she said that there are 14 talismans in Avalar, and if we can collect enough of them, they can be used to defeat Ripto. Yeah, they can be used to defeat Ripto. So each world you go to, a talisman you will collect. And each world has a civilian. Basically, that world's civilian that you have to main civilian and some other citizens as well side quest to get orbs, which Laura says that important too, but see, we'll talk about them later. But Hunter says that he could do that. Why doesn't Spyro not charge Ripto? But Allura tells Hunter that he can't even keep track of his running shoes, and how could they trust him with 14 talismans as well? So we are dropped in to the first world, home world, Summer Forest. The levels Colossus, Idle Springs, Sunny Beach, Hurricoast, Aquaria Towers, and the Speedway, Ocean Speedway. Which, yes, in each world you will find one speedway. In each of the 3 worlds you will find a speedway. Ocean Speedway, Metro Speedway, and Canyon Speedway. And they're the only levels that don't give you talismans. And of course, the bosses don't give you talismans either. But you can get treasure, and there are new stuff added to these speedways as well. Doing Hunter, yes, like racing Hunter. After you do the main, collect all of the objects before the time runs out. And then after you do that, you can go back to the same person that you talked to before to start the mission, and you can go and do Hunter's Challenge. Which, in Ocean Speedway, you have to fly with Hunter, and fly through all the rings, and if Hunter flies through them first, then the ring will start to shrink, and you have to hurry before it shrinks. If it disappears after it shrinks, then you have to redo it. Metro Speedway, you have to help a mayor stop some cat burglars robbing his radiation tower and catch the loot, and Hunter shoots the cat burglars as well. And then in the third one, he uses a remote control on Spyro is flying a remote control plane while Hunter's controlling it with a machine gun. So yeah, each of the speedways have a different Hunter mission. So yeah, they have each of a Hunter mission on there. Speaking of Hunter, there's also side quests that you can do with Hunter, like a tutorial of how to glide, hover, and basically jump higher. And after you do that, you are rewarded with an orb. And Hunter's not the only one that gives you orbs. Each of the worlds you visit, you can find different citizens of that world and do side quests in order to get orbs. And there are 64 orbs in total in Spyro 2, and 14 talismans in Spyro 2 as well. Yeah. And of course, we can't forget the greedy moneybags. The greedy, very cheap bag that always likes to take your gems. And on Spyro 2, Summer Forest, you need to pay him gems in order to learn how to swim, or to progress onward to the other levels in Summer Forest. Autumn Plains, you have to pay him gems in order to learn how to climb, and in Winter Tundra, you have to learn how to head bash. And basically, levels that you have to climb, you have to go back to. Head bash, you have to go back to. And basically swim, you have to go back to as well. So, once you collected the Summer Forest talismans, you can fight the first boss, Crush. And right before we get to Crush's dungeon, Allura tells us tells us how Ripto and his monsters arrived in Avalar. And then we see the Professor, Hunter, Allura, and Zoe working on some new super portal technology. And Hunter, and all they need is coordinates. So Hunter says he puts in 2273, or basically what he says. I can't exactly remember, but he says that it's his birthday, and then he activates the portal, which brings out Crush, Ripto, and Gulp right out of the other side. Gulp is wondering where they are, but he sniffs for dragons, and he is very pleased, and he is now the ruler of Avalar. But Allura asks the fairies to scatter the orbs so Ripto wouldn't be able to move in. So Ripto tells Gulp and Crush to get the orbs, and then manage to get away. And yeah, Hunter and Laura tells Hunter why he didn't chase him, but he said about something not liking dragons. So that's when they got the idea to bring Spyro into the plot as well. So they go to Glimmer and try to get a dragon, which is Spyro. So once you defeat Crush, Ripto is so mad. Basically, you may have managed to defeat that simpleton, that he says, but he's saying Gulp will be more than a match for Spyro. And Spyro calls him shorty, and Ripto starts to have a tantrum. So he summons Gulp and tells him to destroy Spyro and make sure it's painful, but the whole place is collapsing where they're in, so Ripto and Gulp escape. And that's basically Summer Forest free. After, we see Moneybags in Autumn Plains. Just basically, thank goodness that Spyro saved him from being bankrupt, and Ripto has caused enough damage. And he says, if Ripto were here, I would give him a piece of my mind. And then he tells him that he was a boxer in his university, and he does a few moves, which he manages to hit Gulp. And then Ripto he just goes boo, and he scares Moneybags, breaking a lot of his organs from a high fall. And Ripto and Gulp take over this Autumn Plains castle. And once you collect all 14 talismans, you can go and fight Gulp. Which Gulp is much harder than Crush. So Ripto's got a fairy, and he was about to feed to Gulp, but Spyro thankfully saves the day. And Ripto tells Gulp to eat, or to finish off Spyro, and he can have all the fairies that he can eat, and he's going to enjoy this. So once you defeat Ripto, or once you defeat Gulp, Ripto falls out of his chair to wherever he lands, and the Autumn Plains castle is free. Allura sneaks up on Spyro, which is much more funnier and reignited, in my personal own opinion. But Allura does something nice for Spyro, which, if you played Spyro, you know Allura has a thing for Spyro, and especially in Reignited. Toys for Bob definitely cranked up the love of Spyro and Allura together, and which I love, because I love them two together. And Spyro asks Allura if she can join him, if she wants to join him, but she said that she sadly can't, because she has to go back to the Winter Tundra to help the professor finish off the super portal to send him back home, or to send him to Dragon Shores. Spyro goes to sleep for probably 5 or probably 10 seconds or less. He knows that Allura is gone, so he goes and follows Allura. So we see that we're back in Winter Tundra. They got a super portal, or a super crystal, power crystal, to boost it. But guess who's back? A bomb starts rolling, and Ripto comes out. Yes, Ripto is not dead. don't know where he would have landed. But he managed to get some bombs from Moneybags. And he manages to get the power crystal, which Allura responds to Hunter to tell him to do something, and Hunter just sits there and says, hey, give that back. In the original, but in Reignited, he actually does try to get Ripto in Reignited. If you've seen the Reignited cutscene of it, after Allura says Hunter do something, Hunter actually does try to grab Ripto, but Ripto just outsmarts him. So he actually does something instead of just sitting there. And, of course, him saying that I tried. So, after you collect the final set of orbs that you need, which I think is 50 orbs? I think it's 50 orbs to defeat Ripto, or to go to Ripto. And we've made it to the final boss, Ripto. And, of course, he tries to test his new scepter on some seat, but the escape. Spyro comes and tells him if he wants to try out the power crystal, he can try it on him, and he would stand still. So, Ripto and Spyro do a battle. But until, at the end, Ripto falls in lava. Yeah, Ripto falls in lava and dies. So, Avalar is free from Ripto. They have stopped Ripto. He drowned in lava. And Allura thanks Spyro with a big kiss, which definitely is a lot sweeter and reignited in my opinion. So, Allura says, that before Spyro goes, Moneybags got someone to give him, so Hunter actually does something this time, and just straight up beats Moneybags down to the ground, gives Moneybags a beat down, and gives Spyro all the gems that Moneybags took from him as a reward. So, Spyro offers Allura and Hunter to go to Dragon Soars with him, but they said that they can't because they gotta clean up the mess that Ripto left. But Allura says that he can always come back to Dragon Soars, get back to Avalar from Dragon Soars if he wants to visit. So we see Spyro leave Avalar to Dragon Soars. And yeah, Dragon Soars is just basically a fun land where you can do a Duncan boost, a love tunnel, a shooting gallery, and roller coasters. And lots of fun. And if you've gotten every single thing, all the gems, and all the 64 orbs in the game, collected everything, every single gem, every single orb, you can get the super flame power up. You can start a new save file and do the whole game with permanent super flame. So you can do stuff a lot much easier. And that will be it for this review. That is Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage. Which, I do like this game. I do like Ripto's Rage, but probably doesn't beat it as much for me as Year of the Dragon. I mean, like with Spyro, the first Spyro game, 1 and 2 are okay, but I don't think they're as great as the third one in my opinion, because I love the third one, which that's what we'll be reviewing next. Next time we'll be reviewing Year of the Dragon. And then that'll conclude the original trilogy of Spyro, and then we'll be going to the other Spyro game reviews. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and make sure you have all notifications turned on so you won't miss a single video from me on my channel. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next video. Bye!